Join the Our Game Supporters Club at Patreon for €5 per month to get audio podcasts of the Hurling and Football show and much more exclusive material.
Do you want to start, John, with Peter Casey and the state of play?
We got the referee's report yesterday, and late yesterday evening. So we had a few hours of a discussion around it at that stage, and we 48 hours to decide on our our approach to it. And I think we've another meeting scheduled for this evening now after training. So yeah, it's ongoing.
So there's no decision.
No definitive decision has been taken as yet.
Are you cognizant, I suppose, that the time frame is a bit shorter in terms of any action you do take and the possibility that kind of having an impact on the preparation?
That'll all depend on what decision or what route we decide to take. Yeah. For the moment, it's still only Tuesday. There's no panic. It's our first night back training, so we'll take the time. We said it on Sunday. We take the time to consider it and make the right decision for Peter and for the group. And we'll use the time we have. We have the 48 hours, and it's great to have that time, that we're not rushed into any particular direction.
Will you involve Peter in that decision-making process, John?
Absolutely, yeah.
Have you seen the video back? Yeah, I guess the Sunday game, even the videos that are there.
I won't, at this stage, I'm not going to comment on anything in relation to it, other than that's the status of where it's at. I think that would be, wouldn't be fair.
How was Barry Nash shaping?
Barry Nash is perfect.
Yeah. He'll
be training tonight. Good man, Huey.
I couldn't get that.
Thank you very much.
And I presume, is everyone else healthy and fit?
Diarmuid Burns, obviously you'll have noticed, went over on his ankle, and he probably won't train for a couple of days, but we're hopeful that he will be okay. Just needs a couple of days to settle down, get the swelling down, and probably have to get it strapped and stuff, but it'll be fine. As I said, Barry Nash will be fine, and other than that, there was a couple of knocks, but only bits of dead legs and dead calves and all sorts of things, but nothing that won't clear itself up in a few days.
Yeah. Do you remember? I think there's some reports that he's in a protective boot at the moment, or is it?
Yeah, but that's only just to make sure that the rest is 100%. Takes the complete weight off the leg. That's all.
The rest of the panel then, the guys that haven't been there, are they all back fully fit? I know the likes of Adrian Breen and David Dempsey were carrying knocks.
No, they're perfect. They're perfect. Yeah, they'll train tonight. They'll all train tonight. Yeah. The only players who aren't training are obviously Mike Casey, John Kiely, who's had a quad muscle strain for 4 weeks now, and he's rehabbing as well and should be hopefully back over the course of the next week or so. And obviously then Diarmuid will be rested for a couple of days, but I'm expecting that everybody else should train.
Mark Quinlan.
Yeah, sorry.
Galbali's coming out there.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah. Mark, yeah. My apologies.
Given we're looking at the serious uncertainty over the All-Ireland semi-final again between Tyrone and Kerry, it looks like it's gone to another level in terms of the problems with Tyrone. How does that feed into your own mindset? Is that still always a worry in the back of the mind that we still have to get to this point?
Yeah, it's absolutely a worry, sure. It's been a worry for the last year and a half in every facet of what we're doing, because you just don't know the second that you're going to get that phone call or text message to say I've been, diagnosed with COVID, or I've been designated a close contact, or I have to go for a test, and you just don't know what the outcome is going to be. We've had a few cases, and we've had a few lads who've had to isolate earlier in the championship, just before it started, and we know how disruptive it can be, and to be fair, and I can understand Tyrone's situation, it does take time for the players to get back up and running after they come back in.
Does it, like you saw that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course it does. You can't go from 0 to 100 miles an hour overnight. You need time to get back up. To bring yourself. It's like an engine. You have to bring it up gently up to full speed. You can't go from 0 to 100, or you might blow something. So I can totally understand their situation. Yeah, and sure, listen, everybody will. I'm sure, even in everybody is cognizant of how difficult it is for groups that end up in these situations. And at this stage of the championship, I'm sure Croke Park and everybody involved is trying to help rather than hinder, and try and facilitate the safe running off of the remainder of the championship. And that the players will be well and healthy. That's the most important thing. The players are well and healthy, in all our camps. That's our job, is to look after them and to make sure they are well and healthy.
John, is the build-up any different this year? I mean, last year was a December final, different weather conditions, and just, no spectators. Is it much different this year? Even in terms of fans looking forward to it, and the level of fans that will be there in 2 weeks' time.
It's worlds apart, I suppose, really, in many respects, because we were here last year and the field was badly cut up by the finish, from the training. We'd nowhere else to train really as such. Whereas this year, as you can see, the pitch is just in immaculate condition. It's great for the players. They can arrive on in a pair of shorts. They can go out and have a walk around the field before training. Whilst we've had a few wet evenings, it's been usually very mild and it's been lovely. It's just been lovely. We've sat and had an ice cream after training on occasion and chatted, and just it's just much better altogether. And you can hurl. It's a different type of hurling, I suppose. Really, the ball is moving a bit faster and cleaner. But it's definitely a more welcome scenario to be hurling in the summer than the months of November and December. That's for sure.
Do you see a lot of similarities between Cork and yourselves maybe in 2018? You got that win over Kilkenny, kind of a statement win, if you like, and Cork got it last week, given their, I suppose, record in semi-finals in previous years. Maybe. Time will tell. I think for us, I'm not really too concerned as to the path others have taken. That's for them and for their reflections. For us, we're only just concerned about our own path and our own incremental, improvement in our performances, through from the first Cork game through to the Munster final against the Prairie, and again last Saturday onto the Waterford game. We took it up another gear, and over the next 10 days we'll be looking to go up another gear, and hopefully produce our best performance in the next game. The period after half-time when Waterford got it down to about 6 points and then Aaron Gillan got the goal, was that the case, every team will have a purple patch, or how do you assess that period?
Yeah, there was always going to be a kick from Waterford after the half-time break. They needed to push, so they are a super side. Let's make no bones about it. It was tough on them being the fourth week out, but they are a super side, and they put a huge amount of energy into that first 10 minutes of the second half, and they were rewarded by closing the gap down to 6 points. And our guys, true to form, kept their composure, didn't panic, waited for the opportunity to arise, and when that opportunity did arise, Garrod, Peter, Aaron all combined, to show a streak of ruthlessness in themselves that we noticed there.
Have you nailed down what you're doing after the final? Like, win or lose, like, is it the same as last year? Just come down on the train, there'll be no banquet, etc.
Oh, nothing, no. That's that's just the way that's just the way it is, unfortunately. So it is what it is. We've known that from the outset, so we're not going to be worried about that. The match is all that matters now. That's it. That's where our focus will be now till Sunday week.
And I think it's the first time ever the team is, by the time you finish this championship, you'll have played no one outside Munster. Hasn't happened before. It seems that Munster has moved a step or two ahead in Leinster. Does it feel that the province is that bit stronger than it's ever been? It's unusual. There's no two ways about that. But it's just the way the dice rolled this year, in terms of the draw and the games, that the way they went. Another year could be the other way around. You just don't know. I suppose time will tell, whether there is a trend or not there. But I wouldn't read anything into just this year, and that's set the trend. Let's see what it's like next year and thereafter. I'm sure the likes of Galway and Kilkenny are going to bounce back. Wexford, you wait and see, guaranteed.
John, 3 years ago, when you were on the bus after the All-Ireland final, you kind of made a bit of a speech about how you didn't want lads to change, or after winning All-Ireland you didn't want guys to change. How satisfying is it to be where you are now, having won the league in 19, won Munster in 19, won the All-Ireland last year, won everything last year, and to be still going strong like it? Because winning All-Irelands can change a team and can change a lot of fellas.
Well, it's obviously very satisfying to win the final, but it's no good being in the final unless you perform it, and I know what that's like. So course, boys have been through a lot over the last few years, but as much as there's been successes there that would, give them that experience, in their own lives they've had all the normal challenges, and the last couple of years have been particularly challenging because, certain members of the group have lost, family members and friends, and all those grounding experiences and tragedies and, stuff that is real and above and beyond hurling, above and beyond sport, and regardless of the success that you might experience in sport. So we're all acutely aware of the fact that it's just a very privileged place for us to be as a group together, and that we need to be very cognizant of the fact that it's a privilege, it's an honour, and something to be treasured, and not something for us to feel like that it has made any difference to us other than that this is what we do. We play sport, we play hurling, and we enjoy it. So I think humility is a big factor in our group, and I would hope that that's something that can be seen in the way they play. They're very united, and they play for each other, play for the group, they play for the jersey, and not for themselves.
I know last year, John, you talked about the importance of sport and the lift. Even Micheál Martin mentioned the lift for the nation. When you look at the weekend, like Kelly Harrington and all that, and even for your own county supporters, do you get a sense again of the importance of sport? And did you get a chance, have you tuned into any of the Olympics and watched any of what's been going on?
I woke up to the Olympics every morning for the last 3 weeks. My two girls had the Olympics on. Aoife, she's 8 now, so at the last Olympics she was 3, so she didn't obviously remember the Olympics. She said to me, why didn't you tell me about the Olympics? I said, there was nothing on, so she loves it, and Ruth loves it, and every morning it's on till lunchtime, and again in the evening time, and we talk about it a lot, and they've got to know the likes of Natalia Coyle and Kelly Harrington and all the athletes, but all the sports as well, and they're fascinated by all the sports, and I'm sure every child in the country is in the same boat. So it's been brilliant.
Did you set your alarm clock on Sunday morning, or did you?
I didn't. I didn't know, because I had a fairly busy Saturday. I wasn't much long after now, mind you, but because I was going back up to Dublin again. But no, I might, our girls went down to Kelly Harrington, down to her house, on the way down to the match on Saturday. Got their photograph taken there, So they're fans as well, and they look up to athletes like that and dream of what might be someday for them. But it's fantastic, it's brilliant, and it does. It's great for Dublin as well. Dublin had a really tough time with it with COVID as well. So it's great for every community has an opportunity to have sports people do something that lifts the sports, and it's their turn this time around, so it's great. It's fantastic.
John, can you just ask, what did you make of the semi-final Sunday?
It was a really titanic battle. It was amazing the way it ebbed and flowed. Kilkenny got off to a great start, and Cork came back into it really strong before half time. Kilkenny took off again after half time, and then Cork ran the bench, and the lads came on and made a huge difference. And next thing is then, of course, Kilkenny are never beaten. That's the bottom line until the whistle is blown, and they came and did what they do and did it so well. So it was a great game, fantastic game, and clearly Cork have had a great championship, and they're going to bring a really serious challenge now to define, and that's the way it should be. Our job is to try and bring as big a challenge as we can, and I've no doubt it'll be a great battle between the two sides.
John, how much easier is this time of the year for you when there's no school? Because I presume it's fairly demanding up until leaving certain junior certs are over.
It's great up until next Thursday when I go back to work. So we have to try and get the place ready now to get all these students back in. But sure, that's fine. We've had the summer to enjoy the hurling and have the freedom to go to training in the evenings and not be under pressure. but we're probably nearly ready to go back to school now as well, because we've been off, for the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm happy to go back. Yeah, happy to go back and get going.
John, would you be a small bit worried that Cork are a bit of a bogey team for Limerick in the past?
How far back are you going, Matt?
2014 and 2019.
Yeah.
They came here and
They did in the first round of the championship, yeah, and they put in a huge performance on the day, and they blew us away, and that was we didn't perform that day. So the narrative of being a bogey team, I just don't buy into that at all. It's all these matches are all on the day. We all have our parameters around what we're chasing, and in terms of our performance, we'll go after that the same as we always have done. We'll stick to our routine. We'll prepare well. We'll prepare hard, and we'll try and bring the best performance that we can bring to the pitch on the 22nd, and hope that it's good enough on the day. And that's our job now for the next 10 days to get that right.
John, one of the biggest cheers from Limerick fans last weekend came near the end when Tom Morrissey came out with the ball and was fouled after that goal-mouth scramble. He won the free coming out, and then Kyle Hayes put the hook in then on Patrick Curran in injury time. As a management team, do you take as much out of those kind of the desire and the work with from the guys as you would even the scores at the other end?
Yeah, listen, it's something that we've worked hard on this summer, and all the teams are now trying to engineer and create more goal-scoring chances. Right, that's something. But with that, obviously, teams are working harder to deny those goal-scoring chances, and some of those pieces of defending were exemplary examples of excellence in terms of the timing of the intervention, the technical ability to deliver it, and just the collective unit working together as well. You had 9-10 players working. One would do one piece, then it rolls over to the next guy, and that's for me the most pleasing part of it, that it's a collective effort by the players, as well as obviously the individual brilliance of it as well.
Does that come from coaching or character?
Coaching or
character?
It's a combination of both, obviously, yeah. But we have worked hard on it here in training, and Paul Kinnerk puts in a huge piece on it, over the course of the summer. And to be fair, the players have responded, and we've seen some fantastic examples of brilliant defending this year from a number of teams. We're very proud of our lads and the work that they've done on the pitch in terms of their defence.
John, how important a factor is speed now in the modern game?
Well, speed is an asset in any game, any on-pitch game is definitely a huge asset, and I know that obviously there's a lot being made of Cork speed, but I can assure you we're no slouches ourselves.
Do you see, because a lot of teams now are playing more running games, is it becoming more apparent, or has it always been there?
I don't know, am I qualified to answer that question? I don't know, but maybe more teams have incorporated it into part of their game. There's less long deliveries of the ball from one end of the field to the other. Possession is definitely valued more highly, and as a result you are going to get more support runners, supporting the player in possession. So I think it's all just part of the evolution of the game. Coaches are bringing elements to the game that become a more wider aspect of how teams play, and I think that's what we're seeing.
John, the league probably didn't go as you had planned, but I remember speaking to you after the Waterford game, and you seemed fairly adamant that you were trusting in the plan you had in place. How important is that to, I suppose, trust your gut and trust your instinct on that what you're doing is right, while it mightn't be perfect at that given time, that you can see down the line where you want it to be?
Well, I have to trust the coaches that they, are, and their planning, be it strength and conditioning or the hurling coaching side of it, or the combination of both, that when they set out their plan as to how they want the season to go in terms of their work, that they have made the right decisions and the right calls. They're the ones with the expertise, Mikey Kiley's got a doctorate in strength and conditioning, so I have to trust that Mikey's work is correct and right. And listen, to date he's got it bang on, and we put huge, tremendous trust in the coaches to get that piece right. And I think the fact that we are having this conversation this evening is a testament to that work, and that it was trust well placed back then that we would be right by the time we got to this point.
And it's about surrounding yourself with those people that you are.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not qualified in anything of that, but that's why they're there, and that's why they went and studied all those bits and pieces so that they could contribute to decisions like that along the way. So every team now is operating with that level of expertise behind them in an effort to try and peak at the right time and to incrementally improve as you're going through the season. And our coaches have gotten that right from the very outset over the last 4 or 5 years.
I suppose we've ended up with a thrilling championship, but the league, it was kind of hurling was having its own crisis of conscience, and you said about physicality and the free count, and plenty others had as well. So did those things need to be said, and how do we go from hurling's in an awful state to suddenly obviously an absolutely thrilling championship?
Yeah. Sure, we all have our moments, don't we? it was a senior moment, maybe, is it? Yeah, sure. Listen, I suppose we've all upped our game throughout the course of the season, and maybe certain frustrations we might have had at the outset, might have been maybe a combination of a number of different factors. But listen, I think we'll all agree that it has been a very good quality championship. The players have risen to the challenge and have produced some incredible moments and incredible games, from all the teams that participated in it. And we're blessed with what we have. I think the fact that it was played throughout the summer is a great thing. It allowed players to really express themselves and to produce the magic that we've seen over the last few weeks.
Join the Our Game Supporters Club at Patreon for €5 per month to get audio podcasts of the Hurling and Football Show and much more exclusive material.